This episode of Voice Over Par Charcha is powered by voicesbazaar.com, India's premium audio agency.
Slowly, I started getting work with one word here, one line there. To, voice acting, which voice acting is a very compressed form of acting. It's not really a big, larger than life, form like theater. That's where the client, trusts you with that. So yes, very challenging, but at the same time, very fulfilling because, every time you do a session and, it goes well, you know that you've done something good and then you know that, okay, fine, this is what the client didn't like. So, okay, I got to improve on this, and this is the kind of feedback I got because I always used to ask them for feedback.
So welcome to another super special episode of Voice Over Par Charcha. In this special episode, we have an award-winning voice artist, a TEDx speaker, an experienced voiceover coach, and last but not the least, a national award winner who received an award in 65th Annual Film Awards. So to my viewers, to my listeners, to my subscribers, it's a great honor, it's a privilege to have the legendary voice artist, coach, Mr. Francois Castellino on Voice Over Par Charcha. So sir, welcome to Voice Over Par Charcha और आपका बहुत स्वागत है Voice Over Par Charcha में.
Thank you so much, Harsh. That was a beautiful introduction. I feel like a celebrity.
You already are, sir.
No. But it's wonderful. I'm glad we've finally done this after a long wait. But I'm excited to answer all your questions. And let's go. Let's go for it.
Okay, sir. First of all, heartiest congratulations again for winning the award in India Voice Fest 2023.
Thank you so much.
Sir, can we know on which particular category or genre it was nominated and you won the award? So if you can, get to know about that.
I had sent three to four, films where, different categories. But I won and only one, Best TV Commercial for Havells BLDC fans. Yeah. So the Best TV Commercial, that's what I won for.
Okay, nice.
Bits Pilani had got in touch with me via LinkedIn to do the TEDx talk, to give their students kind of a different perspective from different professionals from different walks of life. So there were 10 speakers at that year, and I was the only voice actor. So there was a professional photographer, there was a celebrity cook, chef. There were different people from different walks of life. So when I got called for it, I was a little surprised because I'm a voice actor. So I didn't think I would be so important for their students to, listen to my story and, how I conduct, my profession and what I do and, get little insights and, get influenced by it. But they were very clear that they had gone through my profile and they quite liked what they saw and they wanted me on board. So it was a great experience.
Okay, the TEDx. About your journey, how you started, about the story of you becoming a voice actor, starting from the year when you started professionally, or I can say full-time from 1995.
Yeah, so I'm basically a theatre actor. So that's how I started. Okay. This was my first year of college. And I got into theatre thanks to my sister. And my passion for acting started from there. And, in today's day and age, theatre is not really a viable option as a profession. And unless you're a star, then you can get what you charge for. But the thing is, I needed to get something very... concrete, something that'll, take me forward and something that will pay my bills. Even though theatre is my passion, and absolutely there's no other feeling than, performing on a stage for an audience and to connect with the audience. That's an actor's dream. So I had to look for the other options. And at that point of time, my sister was already an established voice actor, 10 years into the line. And she kind of gave me a lot of contacts of her friends voice coordinators and, producers. And slowly, I started getting work with one word here, one line there, and it was very difficult because just getting the contacts and, getting in touch with them is one thing, but to be able to deliver what they want,
Yes, true.
that was the challenging bit. And I didn't have any formal training as a voice actor. So that to make that transition from theater to, voice acting, which voice acting is a very compressed form of acting. It's not really a big, larger than life, form like theater. So, voice acting, you have to kind of, put it all in a nutshell. At the same time, it's still acting,
Yes.
So I had to be very, make that transition from theater to television all on my own and figure it out as, I progressed with each recording session. So I should learn with each recording session. In those days, there was, I don't think there was anybody who was training voices. And, I had to really, with every session, pick it up and, what went good at the session, what didn't work for me, take down those points and keep practicing at home and, taking it forward. So it was a challenge, yes, but it was a good start. It took me some time to get some regular work in the industry, to get a foothold into the industry, which was challenging. Fortunately for me, in those days, the competition was much less. When I say competition, I mean the number of voice actors that were there in the industry.
Yes.
And, we were a very, very small community in those days. Everybody knew each other, who's voicing in English, who's voicing in Hindi, the languages. So it was not so difficult to break in, but to get that regular work coming in was the challenge, So practice was what I, kept myself busy with, because I said, if I get a call to voice for a big brand or, for a big producer, I need to be ready, so I need to deliver, more importantly, besides being ready. So yes, so that's how it started. And slowly it picked up over time. It took me 3 years, but slowly it picked up.
So from late like 90s, 2000, it started on a full-fledged.
Yes. From the year 2000, 2001, it slowly started, I started getting some semblance of regular work coming in, So then I was kind of happy about it. And I keep, kind of pushing myself and persisting and, carrying it on. That's what happened. Yeah.
So, what kind of like genres initially you did more in the voice acting? Like, of course, yeah.
Yeah, in those days, if it was a very common notion that you had to have a deep voice for guys and a very husky voice for women to be a voice actor or to be a success in voice acting. But in those days, I didn't have this very bass kind of voice. I had a baritone voice, but not exactly bass. So there was a soft corner for bass voices for the the product tagline or the product window line at the end. And I was given mostly the character voices. So the models on screen, I lent my voice to them, But I started off with, these ads on cable television in those days before, I really set into the actual audio visuals. Okay, so it was like cable ads. Slowly, I got into audio visuals, which had a lot of lip sync work, because in those days there were a lot of presenters, doing audio visuals. So
Yes.
I had to match with their lip sync. Plus, I had to give them a voice that will match their face. So I had to literally change my voice to a certain extent, because if there was a very like a macho-looking guy, I couldn't sound very thin in my voice. So I had to get, put in that little bit of depth and change my voice to, suit his face and his personality. So that was a challenge, lip sync work, changing my voice, and those days AVs were like long AVs, 15 minutes, 20 minutes, very time consuming, a lot of effort, very painstaking work. But soon, slowly, steadily over the years, I started doing more advertising work. I graduated from that and got into advertising. So a lot of, 30 seconders, 40 seconders, 50 seconders, shorter durations, but challenging nevertheless, because you have to bring out, the characterization of the script. You've got to, tell the story. You've got to sell the product, more importantly, because that's where the client, trusts you with that. So yes, very challenging, but at the same time, very fulfilling, because, every time you do a session and, it goes well, that you've done something good. And then that, okay, fine, this is what the client didn't like. So, okay, I got to improve on this, and this is the kind of feedback I got, because I always used to ask them for feedback after every session, the producer, So if I kind of had a little bit of a rapport with them, I used to ask them, can you, give me some feedback? And they used to give me the feedback. I used to put that down on my notes. So I knew that, okay, this is what I need to do for the next session. This is what I don't need to do for the next session. I need to correct this, don't make that same mistake again. So with every session, I learned from my mistakes and, kept bettering and, pushing myself forward. So that's how I kind of progressed. Yeah.
So kind of on the job learning, feedback and
Absolutely.
from the clients, and this is how.
Yes.
So sir, certainly, as you told that, of course, when you started, in terms of number of voice actors were less, but it was, of course, a challenging time, because even whenever I have a word with all the voice actors in my own podcast, or whenever formally, generally, without internet, we can't even imagine how people started, because today.
True. Today, it's so easy. You just send your voice samples on WhatsApp or on the email, and the client hears it, and it's so much simpler, so much better. I remember I had just done about 3 or 4 commercials, and I needed to get more clients because I was not getting that kind of work coming in. So I remember going and burning on CDs. At those days, the CDs, each CD used to cost 500 rupees.
Oh.
And I bought 50 CDs, which was like a big investment for me in those days. And I burnt those 5 commercials on those CDs. And I went to Famous Studio because all the producers were there. They had, most of their offices were there. The 80% of the big producers, they had their offices there. And I used to go door to door giving my CDs and saying, please, can you hear my work? Please, I've done 5 jobs. I would like to work with you. And even though my sister had given me most of the contacts, I would never take her name, because I said, let me go through it on my own steam and see how, I can make it in this industry. Just being her brother, doesn't cut it. You need to, deliver and prove yourself, that you can do it, So many a times, 80% of the times, Harsh, I faced rejection, in the sense they would not even entertain me. They would say, just leave the CD there at the door and go, I will listen to it. And that's when I knew, they're not going to listen to it. If it's going to be lying next to the door, they're not going to listen to it. And then I would be forced to, take my sister's name and said, my sister gave me your contact and she said that you would listen to my work. Oh, why didn't you say so earlier? Come in. And then they would listen to my work. So, it would reach to that situation. There were some producers who would not even let me enter the door. Stand there. What do you want? Like this. So, I had to really think, is this the industry I want to be in? Why are they so, non-encouraging? Why are they so, distant? Why are they not, welcoming or, accepting new voices? Because there were very few voices in the industry in those days. So, yes, it was a challenge. I have gone to office. And I come from a business background. So there's a family business that I was connected to in those days. And I didn't want to carry it on. I wanted to voice. I wanted to do something creative. I wanted to
performing arts.
Sing. Yeah. And, I wanted to sing because I'm a singer. That's how I entered into the industry, with singing first. Then I got into voicing. But the thing is, it was very challenging to prove to my father that I could do this, And so each job was very important to me. Every job I would get, it was like a kind of a victory lap for me. Okay, I got another one. Oh, this is a good brand, a big brand, So that was like an affirmation that I'm doing something correct, But it was a long journey, a hard journey, and thankfully, I have
Really
survived.
inspiring.
I'm still relevant in the industry. I'm still getting work, touch wood, God's grace. But the thing is, staying relevant is something very, very important because you got to redefine yourself. You can't stay the same. Bands like, I'm just give you an example, bands like the Rolling Stones, they're still relevant today. Madonna is still relevant today. They're still a huge success. You too. You need to reinvent yourself. You need to create that USP about yourself to be able to still be around and for clients to still consider you for work. So that is very important. You cannot take it for granted that तो अभी मैं 30 साल से हूँ इंडस्ट्री में तो अभी काम तो मिलेगा. Why should I continue ना? I don't need to improve myself. You have to improve yourself. You're always a student. Yeah. So that is what I always strive, that how can I do a script differently? What can I do to make it more interesting? Keeping in the mind the music of the film, the storyline of the film. What can I do? I got to, I keep thinking out of the box. What can I do to bring out my best to the client, to the producer? So I constantly strive to do my best at every session and give the client something that they don't expect, So because they pay you as a professional to bring something different to the table. So that is what you need to figure out in time, how differently can you do things? And that is the hallmark of a good voice actor, over time. Yes, experience is the best teacher, no doubt. No matter how much you, get taught by teachers or voice coaches, experience is the best teacher. There's nothing to compare that with anything else. So, yeah. That's
on the job learning, and the best thing, the key takeaway is what you said, that keep on evolving, keep on improving yourself.
Yeah.
So, sir, one thing, coach, I would like to know, even all the people who are listening to this or watching this, can you elaborate a bit about your workshops and all? I'm really keen to know about that.
Sure.
Of course, you take trainings and workshops, so if you can just elaborate a bit about that.
So my workshops, I focus on each student finding their voice. So I encourage every student who joins my workshop to voice in their own voice, not to imitate anybody.
Yes.
Because everyone comes to the workshop thinking that, I'll voice in this particular voice or in this particular way. And then, I'll just get the little direction or the guidance from Francois and I'll take it forward from there. But that is the incorrect thing to do. In the workshop, I encourage them to voice in their own voice, to be themselves, basically, to be comfortable in their own voice. So even the scripts that I give them to voice, I explain the script to them properly. I break it down. I teach them how to choose their emphasis words, their pauses, how to keep in mind that voice and music, they go hand in hand. So if the voice is, if the music is a little bright and peppy, so the voice also needs to be bright and peppy. You can't sound, flat or, non-emotive. So, that's what I make them, get to realize the importance of music and voice and how it goes hand in hand. Yeah. Then the other thing I teach them is, how to use the mic, the condenser mic. Voicing is also about mic technique, besides emoting. Yeah, it's not just reading lines and, just saying lines. It's emoting, yes, but it's also about mic technique, how you use the mic to great effect. So when you use, because those mics are condenser mics, they're very sensitive mics.
Sensitive, yes,
so,
true.
Yeah, so you're placing, behind the mic, when you're at the mic, how you place yourself behind the mic is very crucial to how technology interprets your voice, how the mic picks up your voice, and how it sounds on the monitors in the control room. So I teach students how to use the mic, how to be comfortable in their own voice, how to emote, voice act, because at the end of the day, we are voice actors.
Yes.
So we need to emote, how to bring that script to life. So I give them scripts mostly of what I voiced, and then I give them, kind of inputs as to how the producer, briefed me and what they expected of me with regards to delivery of the voiceover, what was required. So all those little inputs, and then I direct them once they go behind the mic. So my workshop is largely to get that foundation strong for them as a voice actor. So then they're able to, deliver or, approach any script and deliver it perfectly, in accordance with how the client wants it done. So that is something very crucial, because you're not always going to get television commercials. You're not always going to get audio visuals. You're going to get different other scripts like channel promos.
Yes.
Like you may be able to, sometimes get called for audiobooks or different other genres. So you cannot say, this is an audiovisual, I'm used to commercials, I don't think I'll be able to do this. No, it's all voice acting at the end of the day. All the genres are voice acting. Yeah. So yes, it's a different format, but it's still voice acting. It's not changing. It's still voice acting. So this is what I put them through different scripts, my students, so that they get an understanding and feeling, of, how it needs to be done and how they can approach different scripts, not freeze when they get a television commercial when they're so used to doing audiovisuals. Because television commercial, you just get 30 seconds to tell a story, whereas an audiovisual, it's a longer format of voiceover.
Yes.
But there is a connect. It's how you connect each paragraph, and also the challenge of, retaining the listener's attention for such a long, like suppose it's a 4-minute or a 5-minute AV. How do you retain the attention of the listener? What do you do? So it's in how you deliver, the voiceover, how you narrate the audiovisual. So you have to be the storyteller, tell a story, narrate it in such a way, in an interesting way, that the listener wants to listen to what you have to say.
Yes.
To what's coming up next. The listener is there at the edge of his seat, sitting and listening. Oh, this is interesting. You cannot sound monotonous. Because then it'll sound boring, and then you've lost the attention of the listener.
Of course. Yes. Even in today's time, this attention span, engaging, it's now even more challenging because the attention span is less thanks to the reels and shorts. Only about 5-10 seconds of course it's challenging to grab the attention.
Yes, absolutely. Very true. And that's what is so, kind of crucial nowadays, that, the first few lines, if you're able to get the attention of the listener, you've achieved your goal.
True.
About 10-15 seconds into your voice, into the narration, if you're able to catch the listener's attention, you have succeeded in your mission. Beyond that, if you're going to sound, not able to do it, then you've lost. You lost the listener. So very crucial to, be able to be very, very effective in your delivery and make sure to get the listener's attention. Very crucial.
And so may I know the duration of this workshop?
You know what? I normally do a basics workshop. So basics going into an advanced.
Okay.
Yeah. But recently I have joined it together like a 16 sessions workshop. So it's once a week on a Saturday from 10 a.m. to around 3 p.m. in the afternoon. So 16 sessions of 4 hours each, and once a week on a Saturday. So I take you from basics going into advanced. So like getting your foundation nice and strong, and then taking it into the advanced section where I take it a step further. So what I do in basics, I don't repeat in advanced. So I take it to the next level in advanced. So that's how I conduct the workshop.
So the tentative like 4 to 5 months, considering some holidays or unavoidable circumstances.
Yeah.
4 to 5 months the workshop goes on.
Yeah. 4 months.
It's the maximum duration. Okay, it's
Yes,
exactly 4 months.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh,
Because there could be something could happen, and then I'll have to cancel the session, and then kind of have another session, an extra Saturday. Yes, that happens. That happens. Yeah.
so as of now, of course, it's mostly like offline in your studios.
Yes,
And
offline. I don't do online, Harsh. I don't believe in online. So I feel in studio sessions, face to face, using the condenser mic, being there in the studio. I think that's the real deal. And you get a good understanding of the studio, and understanding of using the mic, being in the studio, listening to the engineer, listening to me direct, being with your fellow batchmates, drawing off them, listening, observing. Actually, you learn a lot by observing. So sitting there when it's not your turn and waiting for your turn, and observing your fellow batchmate, when they are at the mic and when I'm directing them. So I feel, in studio sessions are the best. You learn a lot. And at the end of the day, that's the real deal.
Yes. A kind of hands-on experience, studio etiquettes, and a lot of things. This is not possible online, certainly.
No. Because I feel that online sessions, I really cannot get an understanding of the student's voice. Also, the recording bit, is not really what you would get when you do that in the studio. Because what I do is also I create a demo for my students, and I take all the best takes from all the sessions, and I create a kind of a concise demo for my students, so that they could forward that to, voice coordinators and producers, because I share contacts of voice coordinators and studios, so producers, and they can, forward that demo to them. So if I've got to create a demo, it has to sound great. So, studio recording quality is, an absolute must for a demo. You can't do that with an online recording because the audio quality is not really good.
Certainly,
And so that's why I insist on in-studio sessions. In fact, when COVID happened, I was in the midst of a session of a batch. And at that time, I had my own studio. And I kind of stopped the workshop, obviously, because of COVID. But my students, I gave them that option. I said, see, I can do it online because I have a commitment to you. But I need to stop here and, take it, start when studios finally open up. So I'm giving you the option. Either you do it online, I finish it online, or you wait till when the studios opened up. And none of them, all of them, in fact, said, no, sir, we will come back to the studio whenever you start. We don't want to do online. So that was a great relief for me, because I'm not a believer of online training. Yes, I have quite a few of my colleagues who do that, and they have their reasons to do that, and no doubt they have their ways of doing it, and I completely I understand. That's it, and that's their way of teaching. But for me, it doesn't work at all. It doesn't work. So yeah, for me, it's all in studio sessions.
Okay. So, sir, one more thing, like in this today's digital world, you have YouTube, you have Google. So now, from the past decade, in fact, there's a lot of information about voice industry, about certain genres of voiceovers. But there is also kind of, we can say, misinformation, and a lot of people who want to get into this craft have some misconceptions. And certainly you also know about that. So would you like to say something about that? Some certain misconceptions about this craft?
Okay, let me start off by saying, I just said this earlier, to be a success in the voicing industry doesn't mean that you have to have a bass voice for guys and a husky voice for women. It's not a necessity. Okay, if you have a great sounding voice, that's a bonus.
That's a bonus. Yes.
Okay, it's what you do with your voice that's important. How you voice act.
Yes.
How you emote. So if you're good at that, you're sure to get work. Because I have so many colleagues who don't have great sounding voices, and you talk to them in real life. But when they go behind the mic, the way they emote is so beautiful. That is what defines their success. So you need to be a great voice actor. So you need to bring that script to life, if you're able to, interpret the script in your own way, and also keeping in mind what the client has briefed you, and bring it, forward, you will be a success. And you need to basically be able to bring in the practice sessions. You have to practice. You cannot just say that, I can voice act, I'll get work. No, you have to practice. And that can easily be made out when you're sending your demos. It'll easily be made out. This person, has not practiced, is not really emoting properly. They don't know what word to emphasize, what are their pauses, the pauses that need to be taken. All that clearly shows in the demo.
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
So these are some things that, newcomers think that, this is what it is. And if I have a good sounding demo, I'll make it through. Yes, you may make it through for a couple of jobs, but then what happens is when you get an actual job and you're not able to deliver, it clearly shows that your foundation is weak, that you have not worked at it. Yeah, you just cannot get into the industry just like that. So my advice, like I've written here also, is do a voice workshop to build a strong foundation. I'm not saying it just because I do a workshop. You can do it with anybody else. So many of my colleagues are doing workshops today. Do a workshop so you get your foundation strong. You're able to tackle any other script, whatever script is thrown in your direction. Your foundation needs to be strong, because first impressions always count. When the client works with you for the first time, it has to be a knockout. You need to be able to, kind of nail it. Because if you don't nail it, he will always remember that session, no matter how many sessions you do with him. If you do 10 sessions with him and the 9 sessions were super great, he'll remember that first session which was a failure. He'll always remember that first session. वो session था ना, वो ठीक नहीं गया था, और उसके बाद आप ठीक किया. They constantly remember that for some reason. So I always tell my students, do your very best at every recording. Give 300%. Don't give 100%. Give 300%. Feel like that is your only recording, that'll be your last recording they're going to do. You're not going to get any other work thereafter. Treat it like it's your last recording, and believe me, the way you will deliver and the way you will voice, it'll be something fantastic. And this is something my sister told me. She said, you're only as good as your last recording.
Yes.
So don't take it for granted. Do your very best. Give 300% at every recording. Don't take it for granted. Just because you feel this is my, comfort zone, this is my strong point, I'll be able to deliver. Nothing will go wrong. The client will like it. No. There are so many surprises that can be thrown at you at the session. And you need to tackle those googlies that are thrown at you. I face that with singing also, besides voicing. So it's always a challenge. So this is what I always say. Join a workshop, so that you're able to get that foundation strong. Another thing, what newcomers, make mistakes is they compare their progress with others.
Yeah.
Which is a big, I don't think that's fair. Because everybody has their own journeys, and in a different way. They progress in a different way. You will progress in a different way. You have your strengths, you have your weaknesses. They have their strengths and they have their weaknesses. Don't compare, because your journey is different. Your effort that you're putting is different. So you've got to give that respect to yourself and use the yardstick that you're trying to, follow. It's your yardstick of improvement. Don't use anybody else to define your progress or, your yardstick of improvement. So please don't compare yourself with anybody else. Don't say like, why is she getting or he's getting so much of work I'm not getting? Or why did she get or he get that job? That job is in my comfort zone. I should have got it. Yeah. See, it's destiny. Okay, and there is that saying in Hindi, "Dane dane pe likha hai, khane wale ka naam." So what is destined to you will come to you, no matter what you do. And this is what I learned from my wife. She should always tell me that, Francois, don't worry about work. You keep working at your craft, keep working at your skill, and you will get work. Don't worry about that. I used to constantly worry, why am I not getting work this month? Why am I not getting this work? Well, I should have got that job. Oh, shut. He did that commercial. Oh my God, I could have done a better job. Yeah, you could have done a better job, but it was the right time for him and the right place for him. And he got the call. And you may get that call one day. So you got to take everything in your stride. At the same time, work at your craft. Don't compare. Okay? Another thing, what newcomers want is quick success.
Yes.
Why? Why do you feel that I need to be a success immediately? I need to get work rolling in. I need to make the money. I've done my workshop. Now I need to get the money. I need to, get my return of investment. Everything takes time. You cannot force something, or you cannot expect something to happen so fast. Okay? When COVID happened, the number of new voices that joined the industry was significant, because so many people lost their jobs. Yes. And when they felt that, okay, I have some talent, I can voice act. I did theatre in school, I did theatre in college. They joined the bandwagon, they joined the industry. And we had really good voice actors who joined the industry.
I was one of them.
So you know exactly what I'm saying, Harsh. So the competition increased.
Yes.
And there were much more voices in the industry compared to pre-COVID days.
Yes.
Yeah. Now, producers had much more, variety and in choice for voice actors.
Yes.
So therein is another fact that you cannot take yourself or, your position for granted. Today you have work, tomorrow you will not have work. So what do you do to stay relevant? Work at your craft. Improve yourself. You've got to be at a level where you will be a specialized voice, that clients will consider you as a specialized voice. They feel that if I call you, you will deliver what I want. I don't have anything to worry about. You will give it to me. You will bring something more to the table. You will bring something different to the table. So you've got to work at your craft to be at a level where you are like one of the elite voices. That you can command your rate. You can bring in that work. A lot of newcomers feel that, now I'm now 1 year on the line. I should get work every day, and I should get this and I should get that. The expectations are too high. You cannot. How I struggled for 3 years to get that little semblance of regular work coming in, despite having all the contacts. I had to work at my craft. I practiced like there was no tomorrow. Every day, 4-5 hours minimum. And those days there was no recorders. So I had like those boom boxes, with side A and side B. And side B was the recording side. So blank cassettes, put it on the recorded side, start practicing, picking up the newspaper, watching ads, writing down the script, practicing it, So it takes a lot of work to put in. You've got to put in the work if you want success. Sachin Tendulkar didn't become Tendulkar just by walking onto the pitch one day and hitting the ball. He practiced right from the time he was a kid. He's really worked hard to be where he is. So he deserves that success. So does you take any cricketer, whether it's even what's his name, whether it's Anil Kumble or whether it's you take any of the cricketers, they have worked really hard to be where they are. So you cannot take it for granted that in 1 year, if I don't get this, you're kind of creating those unrealistic expectations, which can only be a downside for you. Because when you have unrealistic expectations, things don't really work out. You know your strengths, you know your weaknesses. So you have to work accordingly. Build that foundation, build that skill set. Because voice acting is a skill set. Not everybody can do it. The unfortunate perception in the industry is, अरे voice acting कोई भी कर सकता है यार, कुछ स्क्रिप्ट ले लो, स्टूडियो में रिकॉर्डिंग रूम में जाओ, कुछ भी बोलो, बाहर आके बिल लगाओ. It's not that. Voice acting is acting. It's bringing the script to life. It's a skill set. And that's what students, when they join the workshop, they realize that. At this first session themselves, the first session, they realize and they say, oh shucks, sir, it's harder than I thought. I thought it was easy. I said, no, it's not. It looks easy, but it's not. There's a lot of work that goes into it. So this is what newcomers need to understand, that they have to work hard. They have to put in the work. It's not going to come easy for them. They expect work to just, gush in after they finish the workshop. I keep telling them, you'll do my workshop, but be rest assured, work will not be pouring in thereafter. You have to work for it. I will give you contacts. I will give you a demo. But thereafter, you have to work it. How badly you want it, you have to work it. It doesn't happen overnight.
Of course.
So,
I received a comment on one of my YouTube videos that, hello Harsh, I've been trying for voiceovers, I'm not getting work. How long did you try? Like, if just for my information.
Yeah.
That fellow was saying 2 weeks. I don't know what reply to give. In this kind of circumstance, like this kind of situation, I really don't know what to say. क्या कहा जाए इसके बारे में? And sir, you said about that, people's perception कि अच्छा studio में जाके recording तो करना है.
Yeah.
Even that looks like a bigger thing now. People are like, okay, Amazon में mic मिल जाता है 3,000 रुपए का, 2,000 रुपए का, or even there's no need of mic. Phone will work. This is also a misconception that you need to give a quality output. Of course, you need a proper microphone, a proper setup.
Yes, absolutely. You need to have a proper setup. No doubt, because of COVID, a lot of people started recording from home, myself included, because we had to make ends meet and pay our bills. But if you're working from home, you need to have a decent setup. If you're not able to edit and clean and EQ, whatever, then you send proper wave files and then tell them that, see, you need to now give it to an engineer to make it sound good, or whatever thing is. So you need to do justice to that. You can't have something, that costs very little and then you expect, extraordinary quality. That does not happen. So you got to invest if you're going to be recording from home. But my thing is, if you have a choice, if you're given that choice that you can go to a studio, please go to the studio. Because that is the real deal. And if you want to let studios survive today, because a lot of voice actors are recording from home, no doubt. I'm not saying don't. Yes, you do, but do that in an emergency situation. Please patronize the studios that are there, because that is the studio quality recording is what is required today. You cannot have something that's substandard. There are a lot of, I'm hearing stuff online and also on radio, which no doubt most radio commercials are done in-house, but there are quite a few. The audio quality is so bad. Even some commercials I'm seeing on television and even on the digital space, it's so bad. I mean, the mix is so bad. The quality, the sound is jarring. There's kind of a split in the sound, and I'm wondering, how come this has gone on air? If you want to sell your product, the audio quality is what defines the success of that product. So I don't know what you need to do it in a proper setup in a studio. If you have good equipment at home, by all means do it, but make sure that the sound is good, because that is what will determine the success of that product, the sale of that as well.
Yeah, of course. Apart from the craft, the sound quality, that is the main USP of a product.
Hmm.
Of course, of course.
Yes, absolutely.
And in today's world, you have to walk an extra mile in terms of hard work, in terms of commitment, because now the time has come. You're not only competing with humans.
Yeah, yes. AI is our biggest threat today, and it can be our biggest friend also. But we have to really now step up to it. We need to get ourselves familiar with it, acquainted with it, and use it to our benefit. Yes, it's easier said than done, but we need to push through our associations to get legislation, put into place and rules put into place, so our livelihood is not threatened. No doubt, it's the way AI is progressing. Every day, it's galloping forward, and we need to really take serious cognizance of that, and kind of protect our interests and livelihood. So we need to be very alert when we're signing contracts, when we are, accepting work. I have started putting on my email, when I get email confirmations from my client, that they cannot use my voice for AI in no way, in any form. I've started putting that on my email because I don't know tomorrow where my voice is going to be used. I have done so much of work, Harsh, over the years, and that can be just assimilated, put together, and something can be created. I don't know. So I'm just protecting my side of how to protect my voice. So I'm using things that I think can safeguard my interests. But I still feel if legislation is put into place, that will be the ultimate, in fact. I don't know. What are your thoughts on it?
Yeah, the rights, because of course you need only 30, 40 seconds, 1 minute, 1 minute of output to clone it, of course. So anybody can steal your voice in that particular way. But there are, I think all certainly rules and regulations have to come in this
Yeah.
particular thing. And of course, a lot of opportunities are also coming. So I'm optimistic about it.
Yes.
Something better will
Yes.
happen.
Yeah. True. Let's hope for the best, Harsh, because it's really looking like kind of I'm not saying doom and gloom, but it's looking very threatening right now, because clients are sending me jobs where I have to voice. They're sending me films with a pilot voice, which I can clearly make out is AI. And it's scary. It's scary because, see, for a trained ear like me, I know I can make out, but for an untrained ear, they will think that's the real deal. So I can make out by the ends of how the voices, ending words, taking the pauses, emphasis words, I can make out. But it'll be one day when they feel like, no, I think AI works, because by then AI will have learned how to emote, how to replicate things that we do in the way we voice. And that's a scary proposition. So, so we need to really see and understand the enemy first. I still don't think it's an enemy, but at the same time, we need to be careful. We need to really, kind of safeguard our interests right now.
It cannot be neglected, of course. And as this one certain word, that machine learning, emotional intelligence, it's working upon. So in some time it will be difficult to even differentiate. I don't know. This is just an assumption. And glad so you are considering it, because a lot of people are still in the denial mode. Like, okay, then nothing will happen.
The thing is, you cannot keep your mind shut about it. You have to. It's happening. You remember, let's give an example some time ago when, for example, a car assembly line. At one point of time, it was human beings who were assembling a car in a car assembly line. Thereafter, it became all mechanical. There were no human beings, assembling a car. That is AI. And that's happened some years ago, at least 10, 15 years ago, minimum. right? So AI progress has been happening, but the kind of progress that has happened in the recent past has been very, very dramatic. And that is what is concerning, very scary at the end of it. It should not replace us. So many livelihoods will be, in jeopardy, and that's what should not happen. So I just hope things are put into place. Legislation is put into place ASAP so that, we are not left in the lurch and, on the wrong side of progress. So, yeah.
But so legislation, the legal aspect, it's a long process. I hope it will be executed, but there are so many nuances. I don't know. Let's see. So anyway, so one thing I forgot to ask about in the workshops and all, there's also one element apart from, of course, voice acting, craft, equipments, the pricing. That is also one aspect, what exactly the minimum, even if you're starting out, what do you need to charge for a particular project? That is also a very important aspect.
See, like AVA, a voicing body, Association of Voice Artists, they have a particular rate card, which I feel is very fair for newcomers. They set a rate card. Basically, it's a minimum rate card.
Okay.
What minimum rate you should charge for television commercials, for audio visuals, for IVR. So I think that's very fair. Charge that minimum, but don't charge below that, because that is not good. You're setting a wrong precedent, and it should not go below the industry standard. So AVA had come out with this rate card a long time ago. And I would urge voice actors to become members of AVA, because they are a protective body. They are a protective umbrella where you can, benefit a lot. I would say, newcomers getting into the line for a television commercial, I don't think they should charge below 2,500 for up to 60-second duration commercial. I don't think below 2,500 is worth it at all. Okay, that is the minimum they should charge. They're free to charge over and above that, whatever they feel they are worth, but not below 2,500 for sure. This is my take on it. Okay, in all fairness, because we are voice actors and we need that kind of value, because as a voice actor you need to know your worth and what your value is. Yeah, you can't just accept whatever's thrown at you, whatever's offered at you. So if you're given crumbs by the client, that's not right. You need to have a slice of that cake initially. You can't have crumbs, and that's not fair. So if you're a good voice actor, if you feel you have the chops to make it in the industry, you charge the charge, that you feel that you're worth. But at the same time, keep in mind for it to be competitive. You cannot outprice yourself. For example, if you feel generally experienced voice actors are charging 10 and 15, you can't charge 12. No? You can't. You got to be realistic where you can peg yourself. At the same time, be competitive. So if you have just joined the industry and you're like 1 year or 2 years into the industry, I don't think you should charge less than 5. I think around 5 to 6 is a decent rate to start at, and then slowly, as you feel the work coming in, you can slowly increase your rate every year by, like, say, 1,000 or 1,500 is decent, but you've got to do it in a way that's, nicely planned, structured. You cannot just jump 4,000 rupees. Yes. That doesn't make sense. Then you confuse a client. The client thinks that, last year he was charging 4,000, now he's charging 8,000. Kya ho gaya? How come he's jumped so much?
Marginal increase.
Yes, a gradual increase and a marginal increase. So, it works also to your benefit. And, clients also get comfortable. Okay, he's increased by 1,000. Okay, no problem. 1,500. Okay, no problem. You need to keep in mind that whatever you're doing with regards to your rates, keep it at a slow, steady increase, not fast, So then clients get used to the fact that, okay, he's going to increase every financial year. In April, he's going to increase his rates. So they keep in mind that increase, rate and structure, and they follow it and they get used to that. So increasing your rate, got to do it in a very slow manner, structured and slow.
So one thing as you mentioned about AVA, Association of Voice Artists, of course, it's a great thing that there is a rate card, a kind of reference for the beginners, as per different genres of voiceover. I think the only limitation is that it is, of course, radius boundary, some geographical limitation, because of course it's in Mumbai. So I'm looking ahead. I'm optimistic that it's also expanding in other cities. So this could be one of favorable thing for all the voice actors.
Yes, in fact, AVA must, branch out into other cities and collaborate with other voice actors in different other cities, and set up their centers all over, because we need to get AVA, much stronger than what it is. No doubt, it's very strong. It's a strong organization today, because I know they are very, very good in settling dues of unpaid bills from different producers who have not paid voice actors. So they're able to get money out. And I know when I've mentioned in my email for producers who don't pay me for more than 3 months, I immediately send them an email, say, if you do not pay me in the next week, you leave me no choice but to forward this matter to my voicing association, and thereafter we'll have to deal with them. And believe me, Harsh, I send the email, and the next 2 days, my money is cleared. They don't want to deal with associations. So, it's a huge plus point with AVA. AVA has a lot of bite. And, I believe in the organization that they can really protect our interests. So, yes, like you said, I hope AVA, spreads to different other cities also, and collaborate and be like a nationwide movement, and that can really kind of get more structure into the industry, because see, largely our industry is a very disorganized industry. There's no real, very non-structured compared to different other unions, and like, for example, in the US and in the UK and Canada, and I follow quite a few of these voice actors on LinkedIn. And they're so organized. Everything is so structured and so well planned. There are non-union voice actors, there are union voice actors. But, the way everything is done is so professional, and so everything is clear. There's transparency. Everybody gets their royalties. Everything is, everything chalked out. The whole advertising campaign is put properly into perspective, and each voice actor knows what he or she is going to be paid and what they can expect. So it's very heartening to see that. And it's a clear indication and abroad that voice actors are respected for their craft, for their skill, which unfortunately in our country, it's not the same thing. So we need to get a little more organized, a little more structured, and get judiciary, and legislation into place to get this properly set up. So just hoping this happens in the near future.
Especially in the AI era, this is a must.
Absolutely. Harsh.
Yes, sir. And thank you so much for coming. It was great. It was a great session. And in terms of people who want to learn from you, the most fortunate thing, those who are in Mumbai, of course, they can learn. But of course, there is Relevant Foundation. But sir, thank you so much for giving your valuable time. And this is like, I told you, this was one of my New Year's resolution, because it was like, October में बात हुई थी,
October,
September में बात हुई थी.
हाँ.
Today it is happening. So finally this episode, and thank you so much, sir. It was a great learning. It was a great learning, inspiring.
Thank you so much for having me. I've had a blast talking to you and telling you my life story and telling you, so much about the industry. Thank you for having me. But if you don't mind, I would like to say a few words just for, voice actors who feel, what do I need to do if I want to get into the industry and this is the kind of industry I need to be, and what do I need to do to be able to, get to that point where I can be a success Okay, there are few points I feel.
Sure, sir. Sure. Please,
Yeah.
please.
Okay.
Yeah.
Firstly, keep the practice sessions going. Every day, practice. Half an hour minimum every day. Don't shirk on that practice. Be honest with yourself. This is where I am and this is where I need to be. So if I need to go up to that level, I need to really work hard. So be honest with that. Practice every day religiously. Don't miss out. If you do miss out, make it up in the next session. If you can get minimum half an hour every day, superb. If you can get 1 hour, fantastic. The more you practice, the more confidence you will build. You will be able to hear your voice more. I believe that when you're practicing, you should record your voice when you're practicing. Then hear back. Find out what works for you, what is not working. When you hear back, then write it. And then the next recording, again, work on what didn't work. Keep doing that till you attain perfection, till you are happy with it. Practice is very important. Practice makes perfect. There is no substitute to practice. Work hard for it. Yeah, work hard for it. Another thing is patience. Have patience. Today's youngsters, especially who are, joining the industry, they have no patience. They want quick success. Have patience. Patience, perseverance. Keep persevering. Don't lose focus. Focus. This is what I want. What is your objective? You want to be a great voice actor, right? Focus on that. Don't lose focus. Practice every day. There will be a lot of people telling you a lot of things. क्या कर रहे हैं? Voicing industry में जाने. कुछ नहीं. Don't. They may be saying that to you just to bring you down, or maybe they can't do it, so they're trying to bring you down. Or maybe they feel that the voicing industry is nothing. Their perception of the voicing industry. But if you want to be a voice actor, that is your perception, that is your want, that is your passion. So you work at your passion. Don't give up.
Yes.
Keep working at it every day. Don't give up. Discipline. Very, very important. Have that discipline. A lot of singers, if you know, all of the good singers, they still get up at 6 in the morning. They do their riyaz. They do their scales. They practice. They warm up their voice. They get ready for the day. The same thing, we voice actors should do the same thing.
Every day.
There are a lot of vocal exercises. There are a lot of practice. There are a lot of these tongue twisters that we can do. Practice. You've got to practice every single day. Harsh, I'm not bragging, but I still practice every day because I don't take it for granted.
Oh,
I don't take it for granted.
Correlate, sir. Yes.
Yes, because you're always a student. You're always learning, no matter how experienced you are. You'll be a student for life. And when you go out the studio, you never know who you can learn from. You never know. Also, in life, generally, you've got to be an observer. Observe people, how they talk, how they, little nuances, their body language. It helps in voice acting. Different people, when you observe how they talk, how they walk, watch movies. You'll pick up so many performances, good performances from different kinds of movies, different genres of movies. Whether it's Bollywood or Hollywood, watch movies. Go and see theatre. Go and see a play. That's where you'll pick up. That's where you will learn your craft. Those little nuances that, actors have. The way they project their voice. The way they have, those little dynamics in their projection. How they emote. You have to do all this. Do the spade work. Do the groundwork. Build your foundation. Voicing doesn't mean you just take a script, go in the recording room and it's not that. It's much more than that.
Much more, yes.
It's a skill set that you need to perfect. So if you do not put in the hard work, it's not going to happen. I'll give it to you in writing. It's not going to happen. You have me as a living example of hard work. It's taken me so long to be where I am. When I won my national award in 2018, it was like an affirmation of that I was doing something right. I didn't submit. The thing is, we voice actors, we cannot submit our work for a national award. So if we have voiced for a documentary, if the maker has submitted the work and if I have voiced for it, then I stand a chance to win. You know?
So sorry, I forgot to mention. Actually, I totally got lost in the conversation. It was for the Lion of Ladakh, right? The documentary.
That's right.
You could just tell me a bit about that. What was that exactly? Lion of Ladakh.
Okay,
the documentary.
So the Lion of Ladakh is about the story of Colonel Sonam Wangchuk. Okay, now he was the colonel who was responsible for the first victory of the Kargil War.
Okay.
So it's the story of his life and how he achieved that victory, and what kind of a person he is. So it's all that the documentary is all about that. So the interesting thing is how I got the job. So my theatre buddy had put this request on Facebook that looking for a voice to voice this documentary, looking for a voice that is more close to the tonality and feel of Nasir Saab. So if you have that kind of tonality and feel, please get in touch with me. So I immediately messaged her because obviously I know her. I said, see, I do not have a voice like Nasir Bhai. No way. But I'm willing to send you my samples. I'm willing to, audition for it if you want me to. Because the armed forces are, I have tremendous respect for the armed forces and I would like to lend my voice for this documentary. So I sent her my samples and the director loved my voice and I went to the studio and I finished the recording. It went very well. And it was like, I gave them different delivery options. I gave them suggestions on what needs to be done and how it could be done better, which they kind of appreciated. And believe me, I couldn't believe that few months later in June, when she called me up and she said, you won the national award. I was so shocked that, that a documentary like that could win a national award. I could win a national award for, narrating that documentary. So nothing is impossible. Nothing is impossible. You just got to keep working hard, not losing focus, having that determination that I will do this and I will work hard. Believe me, you will achieve success. I believe in this, that if you throw this want and, wish to the universe, that I want to do this, I want to achieve this, it will happen. Provided you put in the work, it will happen. At that point of time, when I won the national award, I always heard about national award actor, national award director, national award playback singer, I never heard about the national award voice actor. So that was like a surprising and shocking thing to me, that I'd got a national award for voice acting. I was so shocked. And I didn't realize it was introduced 1 year prior. Best voice actor. It was introduced in the awards 1 year prior, and Harish Bhimani won it that year.
Oh.
I was not aware. So then when I did a little bit of digging, I said, oh, Harish has, won it the previous year, and I won it the next year.
So started in 2017, you mean?
Correct. So it was a great feeling that I was, at that level of Harish Bhimani, because he's a stalwart in the industry, and to be at that level, I was so humbled. And I'm, going to Delhi to receive it, and it was fantastic. So, so this is how it is. So, you get that feeling that, I'm doing something right when you win an award of that level. It's a highest, it's like a highest recognition that any voice actor could get. The national award, because it's one of the oldest awards, in India today, and the most respected. It's a presidential award. So it was like a huge deal for me. And a lot of people turned heads when I told them I'd won the national award, because they were like shocked. You won the national award? Tu? Kaisa? I'm like, kya kaisa? I won it. So, they were like quite shocked. But for me, it was a sense of fulfillment that all my hard work that I put in all these years finally bore fruit.
Inspiring.
Yeah. So success can happen provided you put in the hard work.
Yes. There's no
That is
substitute.
very- No substitute to hard work. So yeah.
So last but not the least, I would like to end this episode in this particular note. You mentioned about it's a different topic whenever there is a delay in payments. So you
Yeah.
drop a mail after 3 months. This is what you
Yeah.
mentioned.
Yes.
What was going on in my mind? I was in the India Voice Fest. I was remembering Prahlad sir's session. There's no payment. Okay, take a hockey stick, man.
Correct.
मेरे दिमाग में वो चल रहा था.
Now since you mentioned Prahlad,
Just kidding.
I used to do a lot of work when I started doing commercial work, television work. So for his production house, I did a lot of Genesis. So I did a lot of VO work for him. In those days, I'm talking about 20, 25 years ago. And I remember at that time, okay, when he was at his peak of, advertising work, there was an agency that never paid them for quite a few months. Okay. So, and he had to pay his staff and he had to, they were just not paying. He got everybody in the office, go to the agency with his dog, go to the agency and say, we're sitting here and not moving till you pay us. So that's the guts of the man. I mean, fabulous guy, so talented, but he would really fight for us, fight for his people and the people working for him, fight for us voice artists. So a very vocal guy with a lot of guts and extremely talented. So yes.
I was remembering that.
Yeah.
So anyway, sir, of course, I don't want this Charcha to end, but of course, there has to be some, it can go for us, but, and, sir, as I told you that I got certainly I got lost in the conversation, so many things to learn, inspiring journey. So finally, sir, thank you so much awaited episode for me, and I was just praying aaj ho jaye kisi tarah se. So
It had to
again,
happen,
sir,
Harsh. It had
yes, it
to
had to
happen. I
happen.
kept you waiting for too long. I'm
Yes.
really sorry about that.
Even after like October, I also went for a trip, and then it was certain. I was traveling to Mumbai, sir, a couple of times because of the AVA and India
Yeah.
Voice Fest, of course.
India Voice Fest. Yeah.
So finally, sir, thank you so much, and wish you all the best for everything. Well, it's such a great work you're doing in terms of coaching, in terms of voicing, and everything. Your journey is inspiring. Your life is inspiring, and for this generation of voice actors, and for the generations to come, you are an inspiration.
Thank you so much, Harsh. That means a lot. Thank you very much. Thank you very much for having me. And I wish you all the best. Take care. Thank you. Thank you.